Hey guys, today I wanted to have a solo episode. I haven't had one in a really long time, and I think it's really important that I be completely transparent and honest just about my day-to-day and what my life looks like behind the scenes. I think a lot of you look at me and think that I have it all figured out when I really don't. And truth be told, I sell myself on being very confident and knowing exactly what I want to say and how I want to say it, and moves I'm making in my personal life. But at the end of the day, there are some days where I'm improvising. Today is one of those days. And I had everything figured out going in today's episode. I had a different topic that I wanted to discuss with all of you guys that I know would hit very close to home, and we'll get to that topic maybe in another episode or two. But today's topic is about accepting and living in your mess. Realizing that it's okay if you don't have everything figured out. And truth be told, I don't have everything figured out. And I'm not sure if I ever will. I was one of those people for a really long time that was a planner. I would plan out what my life was going to look like in 5 years, or what my goals were, in 10 years, and live by it every day, working towards those goals. And I'm not sitting here saying that having goals is a bad thing, but I think what we miss when we live in those long-term goals is the mess. And the mess isn't always a bad thing. The mess grows us. The mess puts calluses on our hands. The mess turns us into who we're ultimately meant to be. And today I'm living in my mess. Today, specifically speaking, before I came on air, was very rough on a lot of different levels. And if you're a divorced mom, I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from in that regard without going into too much details. But I am literally accepting and living in the mess today. And before I started filming, I thought, man, I really want to talk about the relationship of a step parent in a child's life, or the relationship of a third party coming into your life, be it an ex-wife with a boyfriend or an ex-husband with a girlfriend, and then what that position of a step parent looks like in a child's life and how it affects them long term, which I also agree is a very important topic, and I will get to that at some point. But today, I didn't feel like talking about it. Today was a really hard day for me. And I think by me coming on and owning my mess and saying that I come on the Ex-Wives Lounge and I interview these amazing professionals and these amazing human beings, and I look like I have it all figured out. I don't. The reality is I don't. And I think the more you fight having it all figured out, the more it keeps happening as a way, as a reminder to get you to realize that sometimes, hey, let's sit back a little bit. Let's take a breath. Let's live in the moment. Let's work through what current event is going on in our life today and not hyper-focus, which I am very guilty of doing, on what that end goal is. Especially as a podcast host, I could hyper-focus a lot on where this podcast is going. But I've decided not to. I've decided to let go and let flow. As cliche as that sounds, that's literally my era right now of life. And things find a funny way of falling together like a puzzle. Pieces fall together like a puzzle. And in allowing the mess to happen in your life, you realize that you're only human. You only have so much control over yourself, people around you. If you're co-parenting, to my co-parenting followers out there, you realize you only have so much control over what goes on with your child in that other house, however many days a week they're in that environment versus with you. And I don't want to say that I was a controlling personality, because I'm really not. I definitely say that because I have this personality of wanting to always do the right thing and wanting to fight for the right things, and I guess come from a place of immense love and care and being a little bit of a perfectionist. Living in the mess is hard when you have that kind of personality because you have anxiety about it. And coming into the episode today, I had to deal with some big girl stuff pertaining to my daughter. And days like today are days that used to break me in the past. They would break me. I would lose sleep over them. They would ruin my day. I would have to go out and tell every single person I come into contact with, oh my God, can you believe this? And oh my God, can you believe that? And I've changed my mindset and my perspective on it. And in that moment, I catch myself now and I say, it is what it is. You have no control over it. Don't allow somebody to have control over your response to their behavior. Rise above it. And at the end of the day, things will work out the way that they are supposed to. And I think that's something that I've really had to work on as I've become older, is letting go of the control of the goal. Letting go of that control. Letting your life play out the way it's meant to play out. And I'm not saying to not have goals. I'm just saying in the moment when something should be going the way you think it should be and it's not, you kind of have to check yourself a little bit. And in that moment, become real with yourself and say, look, this is not going to plan. This is not going as well as I'd planned for it to go. But hey, that's okay. All we have is time. And as time goes by, we will realize that the more you release and you let things flow naturally, the more they actually work out to your benefit. And I know, coming from a place of being a divorced mom, having to run my own home, having to make decisions that maybe you'd be able to lean on a spouse to talk about, but you solely have to make those decisions. Having a child that is your whole world, which mine is, and I talk about her all the time on this podcast. She is my why. She is my world. Everybody around me, family, friends, everybody sees how much she is my world. And it's very hard as a parent who, to be completely frank, gives a shit. It's very hard to let things just play out with the realization that you only have so much control over that outcome. And so leaning on faith, leaning on hope, whatever it is that you lean on, however that looks for you, I think is very vital. Because when I'm going through my worst moments, I always lean on that. And sometimes I'll journal about it. Sometimes I will rage journal about it. But today has been a day for me. And I am not the personality to come on here and just, jump right into a topic that I've been planning out for the last couple weeks that I'm really passionate about, and where my mind is at today, not show through that conversation. And I think this is also great too, as a podcaster, to come on and show that, just as prepared as you think you are for that specific episode and that specific day of filming, life happens. And it can flip your whole world upside down. It can become a gigantic distraction from what you were originally going to talk about. And I never want the X's or anyone that follows this podcast to look at me and think, man, Lauren has it all figured out. Because at the end of the day, I don't. And I'm only human. And I'm only going to be able to come on here and educate and support as much as I can. And most of the times, you'll see me at my best. You'll see me on my best days when I film. But then there's days like today that was completely unexpected, where you're scheduled to film, put on the happy face, and you can't. And today is one of those days for me. And I'm grateful beyond that I have a platform that I can come on and speak my truth and make it known that, hey, stop trying so hard to be perfect. or sell yourself as such. Because at the end of the day, we're only human. Every single one of us, we're only human. We're gonna have hard days. We're gonna have days that suck. We're gonna have days that don't go the way that we have planned. And all that is life showing you that you really don't have full control. And that you can plan it all out how you think it should look. And that's when it comes in and makes it known that it has a totally different vision for you. So living in the mess is so important. Figuring out in the mess who you want to be in that moment. And I knew coming in today, I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to be genuine. And I wanted to be authentic, because those are all the things that I pride myself on being. I am not the podcast host that's going to come on here and make everything seem wonderful, because it's not. And one of the biggest things with starting this podcast was staying true to who I am, not being a sellout, not selling myself as having it all figured out, not being this role model of divorce where I'm just like, hey, get a divorce and everything's amazing. No, because that's not the reality. Divorce sucks. Divorce is hard. Co-parenting, unless you guys align, sucks. It's hard. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. You lose sleep over it. Your health pays the price for it. And then at the end of the day, you have to zip it up and you have to make everything seem great in front of your child. So what a gift that I have this outlet to be able to come on and be real and open up and go, today was a day. And I had a big topic planned out today. And I decided, screw it. I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be real. That today is a day of my mess. And how am I going to deal with it? What am I going to do with it? How am I going to use it? And that's the hardest part. That is the hardest part, is figuring out what part of that mess you're going to let affect you, and what part of that mess you're going to move through and learn from and allow to shape you, so that when more mess happens, you're better prepared to deal with it in a healthy way. And I think we all deal with messes in life, whether that's, a family member passes, or a loss of a friend, a relationship, a separation, a breakup, a divorce, a co-parenting relationship you wish you could have with someone, but you just can't. There's so many different messes that we all individually have. And at the end of the day, you give yourself grace and you realize you're just doing your best. We're all doing the best we can. And I mean, if I'm telling my 5.5-year-old, mommy loves you no matter what, just always do your best, then I have to listen to that advice and I have to just do my best. And I may not be on my best behavior today. I may have dropped some F-bombs in the car on the way over here to film. I may have called a friend and yelled at the top of my lungs about how I feel like what I'm dealing with right now is so unfair and unnecessary, and why this and why that. And I did. And I did. But past episodes you've seen me in, you probably wouldn't think that of me. I have a lot of women and men that DM me and they're just like, man, you give me strength. First off, I'm grateful for that. That is why I'm doing this. But second off, I am just human. I'm a normal woman. A normal mom that's trying to get through this new normal of life that I have and figure it out as I go. There's no roadmap. It's you figure it out as you go, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes on the way. And I'm a big enough person to admit that I am far from perfect and I don't have it all figured out, and I'm going to learn as I go. But in doing that, if you have children, you even have to be more prepared for your next move and the decisions that you make. Because when you do, it affects your children. Whatever choice you make, it affects your children. So there are days where I wake up and I'm just like, why? Why am I still dealing with this? Why is this still part of my norm? Isn't this something that I got away from? Why is it still filtering itself and finding its way into my life? Hey Xies, it's your girl Lauren, and I just am here to say I appreciate all the love and support, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that the podcast can provide you with more valuable and meaningful work to support you on your journey.